I teased about Hillary, and I lost several friends.
We are live. He's teasing about politicians.
We're live. No
Yeah.
more politics.
All right. So if you want to know who posts these memes stirring the pot, it's Kevin,
and he's
the pot stirrer.
And he's alive.
So welcome to Abnormal Alabama, where I'm sitting next to a pot stirrer. And not only is he a witch warlock with a big cauldron, black, he's stirring. And anyway, so good evening.
My pot, I'm stirring.
And anybody that said they would do something once, you know, a cold day in hell, it's here. But what are we going to talk about tonight? Oh, wait a minute. I got to do my typical promotion stuff. The latest and greatest book from no pot stirring Kevin, who loves clickbait. So it's Crimson, the blood painting.
Yes.
And I think that's kind of how Crimson felt last Saturday when they lost LSU, right? Like the blood
I
painting.
didn't even watch. I said it ain't worth getting here.
Well, they were handed on at the wedding I did up there, and they were ooh, God. They said there was the groomsmen and the bride's father and everybody huddled around this big screen TV, and they said, we need you over here because we're losing. I said, you don't want me over there, you will lose. And they did lose.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's just a game.
It's just football.
So I have fun with the fans like I have fun with Kevin. And it's harmless fun. So anyway, Abnormal Alabama, Kevin Cain, the Crimson Blood Painting.
Crimson, the blood painting.
And you can get this book on Amazon, but better yet, you go straight to his website, myhaunteddogs.com. You can contact this man right here through his website.
Yes.
And he will autograph you a book. And if you're in the Birmingham area, he might even meet you face to face to buy a drink. I didn't say alcoholic, just a drink. Maybe a spice latte at Starbucks. Pumpkin spice latte.
A Coca-Cola's fine.
Oh, okay. So he won't zero sugar. All right. So as you see, the doll up there that I understand has real human hair.
Yes.
And it looks quite possible to be real human hair. And I'm going to let, believe it or not, I'm going to let Kevin talk about his haunted doll. I'll try not to interrupt the posture.
He's got to interrupt. That's going to be a feat right there. Okay, the little doll you see before you there in the foreground, yes, she does have real human hair. She's an older composition doll, or we abbreviate and call it a compo doll. They used to make those back then they used things like newspaper and I guess some kind of cardboard, whatever. The insides are usually filled with shredded paper or sawdust, things like that. It's back in the 30s or 40s. And I think she's one of the ones that has little teeth inside her mouth too. It's bizarre looking.
Most people have teeth.
Well, this is a doll, not a people. But attached with this little lovely doll is a little girl named Rosie. She's about 6, 7 years old. She's a very sweet little girl, kind of a little precocious. In fact, on the way here tonight, I had her sitting up in the car, and we hadn't driven a mile, and I looked down. She is laying sideways down with her head propped up, she's looking out the window. And I thought that was adorable. And I started to straighten her up. I said, wait a minute. I said, I don't think I took a turn. Maybe you did that yourself. I better leave you alone. So, because she might want to look out the window. But I don't know.
Well, I know her little ribbon was stuck way out.
Yeah, that's because I got her out, ran in here, and the wind was blowing a little out there. Had to wait on the door to be unlocked.
Just a little.
It's cold out there.
It's cold out there. Baby, it's cold outside. And Cherie Shue is my friend who I adopt this doll from every once in a while.
Going to be with us next Tuesday
Yes,
night. Maybe not here physically, but we're going to conjure her up in a spiritual form. We're going to use our magic ball.
Oh, there's a ball right there. You got the shiny one over there.
If you want to tell the future, Read the lines. Oh, yeah, but this woman's got double the amount of haunted dogs. Where she live? Where
she lives in Fayetteville, Georgia, just a short distance from where they filmed The Walking Dead.
Oh gosh,
on AMC. And I've stayed out there at her house several times. Her children and husband, they're wonderful people. She is the founder of Creepy Dolls and Paranormal Experience. You can find them on Facebook. I'm an admin on there now. I'm proud of it.
Wow, buddy.
And but she founded that. She's a wonderful woman. She's with just an amazing story. She started out she came from a bad place in life, but she was actually a former high priestess of a Wiccan. What do they call them? Coven. Yeah, coven. I started to say crap. That's not the coven.
No, the
Coven.
coven practices a crap.
Yeah, see. So,
I don't think she was genuine because they don't have demons.
They don't have demons.
No, that's only Christians.
Yeah, but she did. I'll let her tell her story. She did.
Yeah.
She did get attacked by demons.
So she's agreed to be with us
yes.
next week, and we're gonna. I'll make sure I have her website and everything up here.
It was so bad. When she went to the church, and the pastor and the wife were praying over her, and they were going to the demons just attacked her physically. I mean, this was like something out of a Conjuring movie, and so she's got a story to tell. But she's wonderful. She's got over 600 haunted dolls in her house, most of them in one guest room, and I've slept in that room for 3 nights.
I knew there was something going on. I didn't say why.
I'm gonna tell you, I can tell you about some of my experiences there when I spent the night. Oh yeah, you could hear you could hear the little giggles and snickers across the room.
That's at your house.
You
too.
could, yeah. I mean, it's kind of like sleeping at home, but there's more eyes on you.
Got a webcam?
Doll eyes.
Oh.
She's got everything from life size to little bitty Campbell soup dolls. I mean, they're starting from the floor all the way up to the ceiling, all around.
I got that. Have you seen the pictures that Frank has been posting with military days?
Yeah.
Did you see that he had a blow-up doll back then?
I didn't see it.
He wasn't kidding. I saw when he said life size. Because in Veterans Day, he started posting it, and all of a sudden, there he is in his military garb with his military friends, and he's hugging, and he's got his hands on this blow-up doll's breast.
God.
So a shout out to Frank Lee and his girlfriend, what's her name, Flo?
Flo. There we go. Flo. Yeah, I was going to say Flo. But yeah, she's even got a beautiful old antique African American lady mannequin from the 1930s, all the way from Arizona.
So she's got a bigger house.
Oh yeah, she's got her house. It's beautiful. It's built in the 80s, but it looks like something you would have found during the Civil War. It's beautiful. The columns.
Did she ever build it? They bought it.
They bought it that way, and they added on to it. Mm-hmm. And it's a beautiful house. I'm hoping to get to go out there early in the year. But one time I went out, the last visit back last year, I went out there and we actually went to visit the set of The Walking Dead. You could see Alexandria with the metal.
The whole outdoor area, right?
Yeah.
I've seen pictures. I haven't been there.
Yeah.
I got pictures sometime. Do some video.
I got pictures on Facebook of myself.
Walking Dead film location over there. Yeah.
And as we were driving out, we saw, of course, he was surrounded by these people. We saw Andrew Lincoln walking down the sidewalk. He used to be the star of the show. He left it last season.
And then one old guy just died. That's been on there a long time.
Yeah, I can't think of his name. I see his face, but I can't think of his name. Yeah, he passed away earlier this year. He had already left the show. I think his character killed himself off.
But they all been killed a dozen times.
Yeah, nobody's saved. Even the main stars get killed.
What about the sheriff guy? The main
Scott Wilson. That's his name.
Okay. What about the sheriff guy? The main character.
Yeah, that's Andrew Lincoln. He was on there.
So he's still on there?
He just left last season. So
what about his boy that was on there with him?
His boy left right before that. They both killed off, so they're not on there anymore. So
somebody's taking his place.
Yeah. So now the star is Norman what's his name? All the chicks love him. Norman Reedus.
Oh, the kind of bow hunter guy.
Yeah, with the kind of long
Yeah,
hair.
and he used to ride a motorcycle. Didn't he?
Yeah.
You want to hear something sad?
Well,
I've only seen the wrong dead.
Well, there were one or two seasons early on that I kind of watched it, and then I kind of got bored with it.
I
after a
watched
while.
the first 5 and I got tired of it. As always, some jerk off wants to take us. These people fight each other, and every once in a while the zombie comes through. And I'm like, quit calling it the Walking Dead, call it the Walking Jerk Offs or something.
Yeah.
There's always some jerk who will come along and ruin the day.
Now, see, when he talks like that, nobody says anything. But if I were to say something like that, like, there's children watching. But no, when he says it, it's cool.
I said
They're jerking off. Oh, who's jerking off?
I didn't
Who?
say it like that.
And he's going to Georgia for an orgy?
I didn't say, oh my word, I'm sure he ain't watching. Lord have mercy.
Okay. Did you finish talking about this girl?
I want to tell the story about something that did happen.
Okay, so Sherry is going to be with us next
Yeah,
week.
next
What's her
week.
website?
It's Creepy Dolls and Paranormal Experience on Facebook. I don't think she's got a website.
So you're ahead of her.
Facebook.
This is Mr. Professional.
Oh,
Sherry,
no.
she's got a lot of dogs, but she's not professional. Okay, go ahead.
She'll have when she gets her book out, she'll be a published author.
Has she got any
And,
book yet?
I've helped her. She wrote.
You're
half
11
of-
books.
Oh my gosh, that don't make me better than her. Talking about my friend.
You're a
here.
saint. You got a certificate for free.
I put it out somewhere and I don't remember where I put it.
She don't remember where she put it.
We'll print a new one now.
I got a couple of copies. So she did tell me a story. I'm not sure if it was this doll, but one night she heard a little girl talking upstairs, and she has a few of these dolls upstairs. Most of them are in that guest room. There's others scattered around the house.
$600 in
Yes.
one room?
Some of them look like real children. These masterpiece dolls. I've got one myself. They look like real children standing there.
When you get a moment, next time you get up, can I get a red cup and tea? Thank you. I'm sorry.
And so she told me about one night she heard a little girl talking, and she went upstairs to the main hall, to the hallway upstairs, and I think she's got a little balcony area there. She started down there, and the shirt behind her, a voice said, "Mommy," and she turned around. This little girl looked just like that doll. I don't know if it was Rosie, but looked just like that doll was standing there, smiling at her, and then suddenly she didn't vanish. She was like something out of the Wizard of Oz. She turned into these little bubbles, and then just kind of dissipated.
Okay, what kind of pop was she
And
talking?
oh, come on, she doesn't do that. She's
How do you know?
because I know her.
That infinite.
Oh, come on, you gonna scare her off when she's even.
Okay.
Don't
I don't know.
lie, Sheree, don't lie.
Listen, I don't know this person. I have not met him, but I know him pretty well. Been dealing next to him almost every week for almost a damn year.
Don't hold that against her. So
I'm not holding anything
She's a-
against her. I don't know what you're holding against her, but I don't even know
oh my
Kelsey
God,
just likes to aggravate.
he's just
the crap out of me.
aggravating.
her. You keep going. I'm concerned because you did not finish your story about the doll, and you keep
I
going
just
to her.
told it.
That was it.
And but I shared. I didn't share it on camera about. She has herself a little boyfriend doll that I have her sitting with at home. When there's somebody in Silicago gave me a doll from a thrift store that's very unique. And these compo dolls were made in the 30s. I mean, that was segregation, racism, all that back then. This doll has a white head and black arms and feet.
That was sad.
There was no segregation.
Not
involved
this
in that.
doll, the
No.
one I have at home.
He's got another doll he hasn't shown us yet.
Yeah, it's a
Well,
boy
there's a bunch
doll.
of them because we haven't been. He's got over 300
And,
dolls.
It's a boy doll,
Thank
and he's a little bit bigger than her. I was running out of room, so I put her in his lap. And now they are so snuggled up. If I turn their heads away and leave and come back, they're back together. And first I blamed the cat jumping up there, but that's too coincidental. But
I love her little shoes.
And, yeah, but she's a beautiful compo doll. But yeah, so she has moved apparently. Now, people ask, why don't you do this on camera? Every time I set up a camera, I don't catch anything. And that even though it's set for 6 hours on that battery, the battery drains in 45 minutes.
I am totally convinced. Well, first of all, we don't run these on batteries.
Yeah.
I'm totally convinced that these dogs are like Bigfoot. They recognize cameras.
Yeah, they do.
Okay. All right. So that is the opening stories, and we do look forward to meeting Cherie next week. Sounds like she's got some very powerful stories to share.
She does.
And again, Kevin Cain, myhaunteddogs.com. We're going to share some interesting things. First of all, Kevin is going to be working with Catherine on a book about Sweet Pony Carolina if we get Catherine motivated to get this done. Anyway, we're going to get that. We've done talk. My English has got poor. We've already talked about Kevin Cain's latest book, and it's fastly becoming a bestseller. So leave a review.
I hope so.
Even if you haven't read the book or bought it, leave a review. You just make up something good to say about something you haven't read, leave a review on Amazon.
And if you don't like reading, but you love audiobooks, this is about to go. It's going to be my first book to go to audiobook, which is should be out before Christmas. They're working on getting it done by the end of this month. And hopefully it'll be out on Audible, iTunes, and all that.
That'd be cool.
See if we can see if that'll pull in some big bucks.
Okay.
And I've decided on that first ghost book I wrote, since it's a little bit shorter, that Legends of Indian Narrows, I'm going to do my own audiobook.
You can do it. Look how many times you stood up and gave presentations.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you're here with me, I actually let you talk for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, he does. And, I think I get about 5 or 10 minutes out of that 2 hours.
So after all these years, I broke down and got my Alabama driver's license.
You didn't have one before?
No, I had Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
I was a poor man's Donald Trump. I had dual residency. And my little act of rebellion, I was born in Alabama, but it was my little act of rebellion because, But I wanted to show you, the lady there was really fun. Two people waited on me, and she wanted to make sure she got my shirt in the picture.
Future course.
So anyway, I just wanted to show you. All right. Now, Kevin and I decided, or at least I decided, I think Kevin agreed, hopefully we jointly decided that we wanted to bring Christmas back to its original roots of ghost storytelling.
Yeah.
We enjoy it. You enjoy ghost stories?
I do. I love ghost stories.
All right.
Any time of the year.
All right. So, but back in the day, that's where you got the Christmas Carol. Scrooge and all that, Ghosts of Christmas Past. And even Back to the Future was in it, Ghost of the Future.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to kind of heighten that up, and we're still planning something for December 13th, that Friday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just got it on my calendar.
Well, we did find out tonight that he does work. He's comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay. We can move outside.
No.
It got cold.
It's 30.
It got cold. Yeah, I don't know where you guys are from, but yesterday was like sunshiny,
Oh.
beautiful, no jacket, and sit out there watching that parade and got hot. And then I get up this morning, it's like I felt like I woke up at the North Pole. It was cold.
Yeah, it's 30 degrees out there right now.
And it's supposed to be.
Yeah, and we had 2 weeks of fall. Now we're in winter.
Yeah. We don't have seasons anymore. We go straight. This was the most, for me, miserable summer that I can remember.
Yeah.
95 and 100 degrees was every single day this year. So we're kind of glad it cooled off, but we go to these extremes. My body cannot acclimate that quick. I don't know about yours. He's got a lot of dogs to keep him warm. So anyway, he's gonna, if he can get through with his
Yeah,
family.
I'm sharing our thing here.
So we're gonna start out. I'm writing a book. Some of this will kind of touch on what my book's gonna be about. I haven't mentioned this on the website, but this is something I'm gonna cover in my book. My book is gonna be Dating the Dead.
Dating the Dead.
To give you a little introduction to the book, kind of get a feel for it, you go to datingthedead.com. I've talked about this, but I haven't shared any details about it. And while he's looking up his stories, whatever he wants to share with us, I want to share briefly this if I can get this. Hold on, folks. There we go. So the story I've got comes from Indonesia, and this is presented. I'm getting this story. I already knew about it. I'm just looking for something to get details here. Villagers in Indonesia dig up bodies of dead relatives, give them complete hair and clothing makeover in a bizarre ceremony. And there's pictures of them doing it here. You can look it up on the internet.
It's crazy.
And the first thing you'll see when you pull up any articles on this is warning, graphic content. The death of the body isn't seen as an abrupt event, and their rituals see corpses dug up and redressed, not like talked to dressed at dressed. But yeah. And it's got several pictures here. Families in this Indonesia province of Tara'a in South Sulawesi perform the act to keep their relatives alive in their hearts and their minds. And see, my whole book is kind of similar to this theme because humans have this strange relationship with the dead. And like it or not, Kevin's collection of dolls is, in a sense, a relationship with the dead. Okay? Major religions, Christianity for one, they worship a dead man. Jesus died. Was he human and died?
Yes, human and died, came back in spirit.
There you go.
Holy Spirit.
Just like all humans come back as a spirit, a ghost. King James Version didn't use the word spirit.
It's a body.
That's it. So we all have this relationship with the dead. This one is very fascinating because they actually have a relationship with the corpse of the dead. Now, and this is not ancient history, this is now. As part of the zombie ceremony, is what they're calling it here, even the skeletons of children are exhumed. Okay? So you wouldn't have to guess about the doll. You dig up and say, oh, you can take Susie's little body, put it together with the doll, and say, here's your doll, Susie, and let's take a picture. Every year you dig her up, do her hair. You can get into that, couldn't you, Kevin?
No, too much for me.
And of course, when these
Look at it,
in Indonesia, these coffins in the ground, they become damaged, right?
Yeah.
So they even fix and repair and replace these caskets to rebury them in. So they get a new home every year. They get it, okay, there's a piece of wood, hammer and nail to fix you up.
So I guess they would have to fix it where it was waterproof.
Well, I can't answer that. I'm not going into quite that detail. Here's one they got in the military, and they actually take a brush, look at the dusting the suit off there, clean the body of El Sarunga, an army veteran who's been dead for 10 years. So that gives you an idea what a 10-year-old corpse looks like. But they dig him up every year. Okay? I think we should look at practice here.
Well, I don't know about that. Have fun with that.
Well, I'm gonna wait till you die and dig you up. We'll set you here every year. I can pick on you and don't have to go back to mouth and
I'm
back.
getting cremated, so I don't know how you gonna do that.
Well, we'll just
That's the new way everybody's going to do it.
Yeah, it's less expensive.
so for these guys, and they're known as the Tarahans, the death of the body isn't seen as an abrupt event, and attempts are made to keep them part of the family. So even if you were dead, we'd dig you up, comb your hair, fix you up, and set you there. And Kevin's still here; he's still part of the family, even though his jaws kind of dropped down. All that. Loved ones are tended at home for weeks, months, or even years after death, and funerals are often delayed to gather relatives around. And there's all kind of pictures here that it's just a fascinating and interesting story. And they go through this ritual. Here they are marching him down the street here.
Oh my God,
Did you post that?
that's like something.
I'm going to share this link, but look at
is
this.
Like something out of Tales from the Crypt.
In the Taraha society, the funeral ritual is also most elaborate and expensive event. According to their ancient belief system, the spirit of the dead person must return to the village of origin. So if you were born up in the northwest part of Jefferson County, when you die, we got to get your spirit back up there, or you'll never rest.
I think I'm gonna rest, brother.
Yeah,
I wonder, would he weigh as much dead as alive? No, he'd lose something.
yeah.
There'll be no way I'm gonna be floating.
Okay, now here's a family portrait with the dead here. Can you tell which ones are dead?
Yeah, I can tell which ones are dead.
Let me post this link here, folks. I'll post it in the comment section. So you guys can see it.
That makes me think of, we kind of have that, well, not exactly like that, but we sort of had a practice here
Sort of.
back 100 years ago, or more, actually more, where, what do they, see, every time I talk about this, I forget what we used to call these photos people would take of their dead
Oh,
loved
that used to pose the body. Yeah.
Some of them call them cabinet photos. What's the word for those photos they take of the dead bodies?
Yeah.
Like with their baby, back then
Yeah.
there weren't a lot of photos taken. So if a baby passed away, that might be the only photo of the mom might have. And if they couldn't get the eyes open, they paint eyes on the eyelids. So they don't let their eyes open.
Yeah. So I just posted that link so you get an idea. This is just one place you can get this information. And they got family photos here. Look how they redecorated the coffins before they lay it back out.
Post-mortem photography. That's
Post-mortem, that means after death. And look at that. Look how well cared for. They take care of neatly, new dressed outfits.
Did you post the link?
Yes, on the Facebook.
That looks like it.
And look how good he looks. He looks better than you do.
That looks like that zombie on Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things.
But I mean, this is
They
real.
shouldn't mess with these.
With all due respect to different cultures, this is real. This is not fake. It's not a TV show. This is real. And look at it. I mean, that's amazing. So that link is down there. And again, this is what my book entails, is basically all these relationships we the living have with the dead, culturally speaking. And I know in our Western culture, we kind of go, ooh, get away from it some. But not everywhere, because we got the lady that married a pirate. We got two ladies that contacted me a few years ago. One of them married to JFK Jr. And you remember those stories, right? And so it's just amazing. And then you've got, and the Mormons, major religion, very major religion. They baptize the dead. They marry in proxy for the dead. It's very important to them. Not so unlike the Catholics, because the Catholics, if you're not terribly bad, but you didn't finish all your sacraments, you end up in purgatory.
Yeah.
But we can pray you out of purgatory, okay? And it takes a lot of work and a lot of prayer, but we can get you there eventually. So we're dealing with spirits, and of course, then the Catholics have all these saints. And by the way, we have the only living saint right here, Saint Kevin. So he didn't have to wait till he died. Yeah, I was too, actually. I tried to pray about myself.
The future corpse here.
His driver's license picture has that.
I showed it. I pulled it out. I wonder why she wanted me to take my jacket off. Anyway, we have a very fascinating and historically interesting relationship. Why do we embalm bodies?
To preserve them.
Well, that's right, but it goes back to ancient Egypt. And remember, they buried them with their cats and even would kill their servants and stuff them and put them down in a tomb. They can the wealthy ones anyway. And they would bury them with a boat because it actually crossed over this river to get to eternity. So a lot of fascinating stories there about our relationship with the dead. Ghost hunters, and I distinguish between a paranormal researcher and a ghost hunter. How would you identify yourself?
I'd say paranormal investigator.
Because I think a ghost hunter has already made up their mind, this is ghost. I think a paranormal researcher is saying, it might be ghost, but I'm open-minded. I'm kind of looking to find out what it really is. Does that sound right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's basically the people have talked about the difference. It always leads back to that. The paranormal investigator, you're saying a little more serious about investigating, whereas ghost hunters are these people that go out and hunt up a ghost, and that's a ghost, and and they don't take it. You get to remember when you're investigating for a client, your job is to help them with what they're dealing with.
Right.
If you go in there and scare them to death with everything's a ghost, that's not helping them. But if you go in with a skeptical mind, especially, it's always important to look for something that naturally causes it. That helps ease their mind. If it's something natural, like high end, because loose wires hanging out or something, that's important. And it's important for their health too, to look into stuff like that instead of scaring the bejesus out of them.
And I think it's an interesting perspective from you because you do believe.
Yeah.
But you are willing to be skeptical enough to distinguish between that wasn't of those.
No, that was us.
That was her melting over there.
Am I being balanced?
He's messing with you.
I wasn't paying any attention.
She don't pay attention. That's
Look, a ghost. I just shook that.
So I shared that link, and that is in Indonesia, and that is a current day dealing with the corpses, not just the ghosts, but they keep these dead relatives, their bodies, as part of the family, and they go through this ritual. The link is there; you can look that up. Kevin, did you find us anything interesting you'd like to share?
Yeah, I went ahead and thought about that, and I'm about to share this on my podcast sometime.
Oh, you found something really good.
It's a place I've been to a few times. It's one of my favorite homes I've been to. It's an old historical haunted house. And this is not to be confused with the sanatorium. This is Waverly Plantation, located in Columbus, Mississippi.
So that's totally different because the other Waverly is.
It's Waverly Sanatorium.
And where, Ohio, or
Is it Ohio?
is that the one in Kentucky?
Oh my gosh.
You don't even know.
I think it is Kentucky, near Kentucky, kind of where Kentucky and
Is that the one that
Indiana,
TV clinic type thing?
yeah.
The shoot, the
Yeah.
body shoot?
I think
That's
it is.
in Kentucky.
Yes, we're
Not far
almost
from Louisville.
where Illinois, the state line.
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah, I remember. I went to a convention out there and didn't realize I was that close to it. I was driven
You
out
were
there.
down to it.
I went to Louisville. And
So this is in Mississippi.
This is Columbus, Mississippi. They got a lot of historical homes. In
Wow.
fact, there's a couple of stories that are my favorite that are out there. This one's one of them. They call it Little Girl Lost. And but there's more than one ghost in this. That's beautiful. See, that's what it used to look like. The family's restored it.
It still looks the same.
It's beautiful. Well, it's not as worn down looking up there. They painted
You
it.
like more now.
I like the beautiful plan.
Would you live in that
giant
house?
cupola up there?
Would you live in that house?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would
Imagine the
live
dolls
there.
we could have in the house.
It's a big play with a huge, wide open entry parlor, and these rooms on each side, top and bottom. And got the gym. This is back right before the Civil War came along. They built this, and it stood. It wasn't just one of the houses destroyed, thank God. But it's beautiful. Got the little front and back entrance that are identical with the columns and everything. And I'll go ahead and read the history. Magnificent magnolias stand tall, shadowing the grounds of the mansion built by Colonel George Hampton Young in 1852. So that wasn't very long before Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
Upon entering the main brick gates, a rich green path of shrubbery guides visitors to the Italian marble steps leading to the front door. It's a beautiful place. It's a stunning sight of grandeur that causes guests to halt in their footsteps as they approach. And there's two giant towering white columns that line the front of the mansion, and octagonal-shaped cupola. That's a big cupola, the biggest I've ever seen. And it overlooks the Tom Digby River.
So is that cupola? Is there a room inside that cupola?
No, this was where they built it. A lot of old plantations that they had. It's where the master would go up and he could walk around and oversee.
Well, I know, but that was so big. I saw the picture. You could put a bedroom in there.
You could. All it is just there's a walkway around up there. Otherwise, it's hollow. There's no floor.
So that was back in the day where you need to see if the Union troops.
Yeah, that outlook, and also they could watch the slaves and
Yeah.
servants out there. And but it's open for tours 7 days a week, every day.
Is
And
somebody living there?
there, I don't. Yeah, he did. There's a little cottage right behind it where the owner lives. Now I think the Mr. Snow, who I met when I went out there to visit, this has been a while ago. He was already in his 90s. He's probably passed on by now. But he's got 4 daughters, and they were set to take over and keep the place running. They were really sweet ladies. I love this family. They are precious. And it's
He had more girlfriends.
oh, but and of course it's open on. They have a spring pilgrimage every year. I like to go on to some of the historical homes that are privately owned are open on that tour. So I like to go to those places you can't access during the year. But this one's open all year long, and it's
Or if
worth
they
it.
let you in, spend the night there for a ghost hunt.
They might work something out because they love their ghosts.
So they're not too far from here.
A couple of hours
I
drive.
mean, it's just daytime.
Yeah, I got there from Birmingham in a couple of hours. I mean, it's not bad.
So you've been here.
But yeah, I've been here twice.
Did it feel haunted to you?
It did. In fact, I had my own experiences there.
So go ahead and we're going to share your experiences,
Okay.
right?
So let me. I
I
want to get to.
want to hear you.
I want to get to the end here. After the death of, I want to get to the ghost part. After the death of Colonel Young's last surviving son, Captain William Young, the house remained vacant for 50 years. Harsh weather and vandals took a toll on the mansion, but the foundation and all the interior mantels and mirrors remained intact. So during the years that the house was abandoned, rumors circulated about the mansion's haunted history. The present owner, was Donna Snow, who took over from her dad. So this is recent, so I assume he's passed on now. Donna Snow believes that the ghost child that resides there was once the 3-year-old daughter of a neighboring plantation owner. It is believed that while visiting Waverly, the child got her head trapped between the stair spindles on the 2nd floor and broke her neck. There have been numerous accounts of hearing the ghost child calling out "Mama." Other reports include sightings of the child by Waverly visitors touring the property. She is reportedly wearing a white high-neck gown and has dark blonde hair. The ghost child is also believed to sleep on the bed in one of the upstairs bedrooms, where the linens often appear rumpled in the shape of a small child. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tell, because I've heard firsthand from the family, I'm going to tell it myself. Donna's mother, back when they bought this, I'm going to say it was in the 60s when they bought this mansion, decided to restore it, open it up. They did a beautiful job restoring it. I mean, it's amazing. Got original antique furniture in there, all nice and beautiful. Big old antique piano from Europe, and all these antique beds with the high posts, and some of them got the mosquito netting from back then when they had to sleep with the windows open. And beautiful place. But the mother Donna's mother was always walking around the house, checking on things, make sure everything was okay. And she would walk around, she would hear little footsteps behind her sometimes. At the time, Donna and her sisters were little, so she would assume it was her children until she would turn around and look, and nobody was there. She'd keep walking, she'd hear little footsteps, and she'd turn around, she'd call out to the girls, and they'd be outside somewhere. And they got to noticing, let me tell this part too. Then she started hearing the little girl calling out, "Mama." She'd hear a little girl's voice, just the sweetest little voice, say, "Mama," from the stairs. And she never could see anything, but she'd hear that voice right there on the stairs. And they started noticing in one of the bedrooms, the bed, they would go in there, they'd straighten it up, make it up, and they'd go away, and a little while later they'd come back, and there would be an indentation in the bed in the shape of a child. Even the pillow had a little head indentation, like a child had been laying there. And they'd smooth it back out, and they would leave and come back later, and there's that indentation again.
Did they ever change the mattress?
And they didn't, I don't know if they changed the mattress or not, but
I mean, I would have to try it.
well, they did their own little test. They just, Donna's mom and dad decided we're going to sit in this room one night. We're just going to watch this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So they sat down together and they're talking, carrying on, and there's that indentation that's already on the bed. And they're sitting there watching, they're talking, and time goes by. They said they're probably there for a couple of hours talking and watching. All of a sudden, the shape on the bed started moving. It went from being a straight indentation to all of a sudden it slid to the side of the bed, like if a child had sat up in the slider, slid to the edge of the bed and down. And they heard little footsteps going away right in front of them. Now, this is back in the late 60s and had cameras like we have to catch it. So it was their own personal experience. But one day, this is in broad daylight, she'd hear the voice. And Donna, though, said that she was in her bedroom one night playing, and she looked up and out through her door across the way. She could see that staircase where they'd heard the voice. And she looked up, and there was this little girl on the stairs, described just like what I read, with a little white dress and ruffles, standing at the stairs, just swaying and watching her. And Donna got up and went to the door. She's probably about 10 or 11, and she's looking at the girl. She says, "Hello," and the little girl wouldn't respond. But Donna said as she watched, the little girl got more and more transparent and faded away. But her mother, she was kind of a outspoken woman one day. When she heard that mama, finally just had nothing, said, "In the name of God, please tell me what you need." The voice stopped. And they said from that day forward, they never heard the mama again.
So the mama was scared.
But they still saw every once in a while. Donna would see the little girl on the stairs, and that place on the bed was still there.
Oh.
Now, when you go to tour, they've got the rooms roped off where you can just take a few steps in and look, so you can't walk all the way in. And this was not my first time there. I was there with just a few other tour people. It was a regular day. And when they took us around, they told us about the history, and then I asked about the ghosts. I believe that. I want a ghost story, And the tour guide told me about the family, and they weren't there that day, but she told me about the family and the story. And I had already read the story in 13 Mississippi Ghosts and Jeffrey. Catherine Tucker went in the movie. I love her. So I already kind of knew, but she told me even more detail about them sitting up and watching the indentation move away and everything. And she showed me which room it was, and I looked, and I didn't see anything on the bed. It was smoothed out. But I took a picture. That's when I had my old laptop, and that thing crashed long ago, so I lost it now. It was back in the day when I wasn't saving the stuff, right? But in the picture, on the other side, it looked like a little wispy something was peeking up over the side of the bed. And I showed that to her. She said, "Well, maybe that's a light reflection." I said, "I don't know." I said, "That's creepy." But as I walked around up there, she went away and left. She had herself walk around because I was the only one left. She said, "I'll be downstairs." I said, "Okay." And I walked around. And as I was walking, I heard a little footsteps behind me. And I stopped, looked around, didn't see anybody. And I kept walking. I heard the little footsteps again. I tried to look, nothing there. And then I felt this little cold breeze kind of go by me, but I didn't hear anything else after that. I went down and told her about it. I said, "I think your little girl lost was following me." Curious about who I was. The next time I went back, this is funny. The second trip, I went on the spring pilgrimage, so there were a lot of people coming and going.
Right.
So I went in. There's a big group this time, and what they do, and then adults and children that live there, they'll dress up in period clothing, dresses, and things from back then, from the 1800s. So that they're getting festive into the the historical thing, and your tour guides are dressed up. There's little girls outside dressed up. Well, welcome to our house, just so cute. So the Snows had Donna's children, and all of them were dressed up. Well, I hadn't seen them yet when I got there. So at the end of the talk and everything, they let us walk around on our own. I went straight beeline to the little girl's room to look in. And as I'm standing looking in, I feel a little tug on my pants. I look down, there's this little bitty girl with a period dress on. And I'm looking, and I said, "Are you real?" And I'm like, she goes, "I'm real." I said, "Oh, you're one of the kids, aren't you?" "Yes." She said, "You're looking for that little ghost girl, aren't you?" I said, "Yeah." She said, look right there. And she pointed. And I looked, I didn't even notice. I was looking at the bed, and I looked down, and in the carpet, it's this old, thick, carpeting. There were little footprints in the carpet, like a little child just walked through barefoot.
Going to the bed or
Going to the bed.
wow.
But there was no indentation. It was smooth.
So you've had some experience in that place.
So I have twice. Both times I've been there, just little, fun things. Now, a normal person would probably get the bejesus scared out of it, especially with little footsteps. Not me. I wanted to see more. I'm like, I want to see that bed move,
Well, that's why he's so fascinated with my book, Dating the Dead. So,
oh, my Lord.
This is Waverly Mansion.
Waverly Mansion.
This is not the Waverly Sanatorium in Kentucky, so don't confuse them.
No.
But I'm beginning to believe that everything that has the name Waverly to it.
There's a lot. There's several out there. They probably are all hunting.
Yeah. So, is there anything else to that?
That's there's another famous Columbia, Mississippi, or Columbus, Mississippi story.
We need to go to Columbus, Mississippi sometime.
Yeah, they got a lot of them. There's another real famous one if you want me to, or if you want to tell something.
Yeah, we'll just go back and forth.
Okay.
And I'll tell this one while you're in. You can have other one ready.
Yeah, I can tell them about mine.
We've got we're barely in the 45 minutes here, so we got plenty of time. Again, Kevin Cain, myhaunteddogs.com, the author of Crimson the Blood Painting and 10 other books, can be found at myhaunteddogs.com. And also subscribe to his YouTube channel.
Yes.
And he does his wonderful podcast, which I can't keep up with because I'm so busy. I may go to sleep tonight listening to a podcast. So we're just kind of going back and forth. Next week, we're going to have a special guest, not with us physically, but in the spirit. Cherie will be here. And I don't know this woman. He's very intimate with her. So we'll get to meet her long distance next week. $600, I understand.
Yeah, she's got a house full. She's got me at Fayetteville, Georgia.
Fayetteville, Georgia.
Actually, it's a little
Hold up camera.
community outside there. It's kind of between there and that other little town where they film The Walking Dead. I think it's
Yeah.
that town's got different names there. I stayed at the bed and breakfast in that little town one time, and they actually filmed some scenes from The Walking Dead at that house.
Oh,
and
there's
they got a good breakfast.
Okay. Not that you like breakfast, right?
I love breakfast.
All right, on to the next story, and we're going to keep going back and forth. This is kind of going to be our thing for a while. But if you remember, I've talked about, and you may remember, the Irish lady that married the 300-year-old ghost of a pirate, right?
Yeah.
And the interesting thing, what I'm going to share with you now is not just her story of marrying this ghost, but after that, subsequent to her marriage to this ghost, and I think ultimately she got divorced, but now she's put out some dating tips for having a relationship with the dead. So if you're having relationship problems, dating problems, you find yourself eternally single,
How's he pointing at me when he says
and
that?
you like ghosts, there's hope. There's hope.
Yeah, he knows nothing about my
Let's.
private.
I don't think to, except when he does that. Oh.
Ah!
All right.
I wear a Dio. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I wouldn't dare.
I think would dare. And
All
love
right.
it too.
So an Irish woman who married the spirit of a 300-year-old pirate says she hopes more people consider having sex with paranormals in the future. Let's hope. Look at that expression on her face.
God.
Amanda T, 45. About your age, right? From, I don't know how to pronounce this, Luth, Irish woman, married a Haitian pirate called Jack, who died in the 1700s. She has previously disclosed how the pair go on dates, have rows, and even have sex. So we can get intimate here with this ghost. But after the news of her marriage went viral, Amanda has now spoken about the struggle she's faced for people to respect her spiritual union. Don't pick on somebody for who they fall in love with and have sex with. That's wrong. That poor woman went through it. Amanda, who previously worked as a Captain Jack Sparrow impersonator, says she hopes that in the future the taboo around ghost sex can be removed and compared it to the struggle for gay rights. Okay? She said, let's go back 20 years ago. If you were gay, look at the abuse you would get. Not pointing at you. Particularly in Ireland. If you came out as being gay, you'd be beaten up on a Saturday night. Now, there is a name for people who have sexual spirits. It's called spectrophilia, which I've used that term before, so remember that. Everybody, spectrophilia. So it's kind of an orientation. Gay or spectrophilia. He's not gay, he's spectrophiliac. Okay? It's kind of the final taboo because we're supposed to be okay with anything these days. All these different terminologies, you have to be politically correct whether we think it is true or not. You can't give people abuse over it. Spectrophilia has been around for thousands of years, but people don't really talk about it. Okay, we're ready for this? In a new video, Amanda offers advice to interested viewers on how to achieve satisfying sex with a ghost. She said spiritual sex is all about being able to feel the energy. Ooh, baby. It's nothing to do with masturbation. Oh, now, why do you masturbate when you got a ghost? Right? So although it can be tried from any position, missionary, doggy.
NB-17 rating on the top of the screen while he's talking.
What's that song? Give the horse a break, ride a cowboy. Okay.
Little ears, cover your ears while he's talking.
It's a song. It's a country song.
It's not a country song.
It's a song. So although it can be tried from any position, missionary is probably the best to start with because it's easier to feel their weight and take it from there. I assume she's talking from a female perspective instead of a male perspective. The video also shows Amanda asking Jack some of the questions that have been sent her way since going viral. Amanda of Downpatrick, Northern Ireland says, one question I've been asked is why did Jack take me above all the other women he's met over the years? Privilege, right?
I thought of an answer.
Well, she's not an ugly looking woman. After a pause, she said, okay. So he says, although I can be dominant and difficult, that I'm also very loyal and would fight to the death of anybody that I care about. He says it's a great privilege of anyone in spirit to be able to have a relationship with anyone who is in the physical right now, and that there are not many who are prepared to do it, but I was. Are you prepared to go there?
No.
See, that's why you haven't
No,
done
there's just something about that that's just too dirty to me.
So I guess that means you're asexual, because I think you'd be cleaner with a ghost sex than you would for physical sex. That's where the dirtiness can come in. Somebody could have STDs or not wash themselves, you know.
You got to be careful who. Okay, anyway.
Amanda added that amongst her friends, sex with ghosts is considered to be very normal activity. Don't have to worry about getting pregnant. I don't think. I don't know. That other lady that was going to. I know one woman who has sex orgies with a lot of spirits and loves it. Woohoo! You got opportunity.
Oh my gosh! I'm a serious criminal investigator.
Since you like orgies, so.
No, why you keep putting this on me? Sticking on me.
I'm not putting anything on
I
you.
was
I'm taking the stuff that you told me. That's all.
This is you. She's trying to make it out like I don't know what it's about. She's not going to come out and say it just like you wouldn't if you were doing it with a physical person. The physical people is for private life, even though he would say it. She's married. Bringing these stories up.
So she's married to a physical guy, and he joined in with his ghost sex thing. They got multiple partners in bed with ghosts. Literally, this is what this is saying. I didn't make it up. Amanda made headlines last month after it was revealed that she had legally married her spirit boyfriend. She took a boat into international waters with her family and friends to tie the knot with the ghost of Haitian pirate Jack. Marriage to spirits is legal in some countries. You got that right?
I heard that.
Okay, but not in Britain. So forget it. Don't take your spirits to Britain and try to marry them. So Amanda had to journey into the sea with a medium. That's a halfway. And register and make her up with legal. So I don't know what country. I got to research this though. You might want to marry a ghost one day. You need to know where you can legally do it, right?
I don't think to marry a ghost.
She's going to take Jack's surname and says will fight through the courts if ever their union is threatened. Would you do that for your love?
For my living love,
Yes, your living dead love. It's not a matter of what they're living, it's just what realm they're in, right? In the meantime, she hopes to educate people about relationships with those from the afterlife, saying it's a genuine choice for those who can't find a partner in the physical world. There's hope. There's hope. Okay, so this, my friends, I don't mind promoting your book, but I haven't even finished mine yet, but I'm still promoting it. So that kind of gives you. I mean, this is. Look at the wedding party. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's. I wonder, do they have ghost sex porn? That'd be pretty clean porn, because what do you see?
Just go ahead and put the website out there, ehauntingly.com. For single people.
Porn ghost.
Yeah. Who knew there was paranormal porn?
Who knows? I mean, I'd rather see that than bestiality. I mean, that's nasty right there. And that crap.
Goodness gracious.
You've never done it with an animal, have you?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
Yeah.
Ask him a question, he gets all.
Yes, I have sex with an animal.
I didn't think he did. I said I don't think he's ever had, but have you? I mean, if you don't ask, you don't know.
It's kind of this little like Fran. No, not really. This little like Fran.
And believe it or not, she's a Jack Sparrow impersonator on top of that.
Let me see what you look like.
I can't move my computer. I imagine she can make herself up. Be Jack Sparrow.
It's kind of this little like Fran Drescher.
But do you think this ghost to be a lawfully wedded ghost till, you can't say till death do you part because they're already freaking dead. How do you do that?
Oh, no. Something to Google up.
Okay, till you die.
This ghost.
The ghost is already dead.
Do you take this ghost as your ghost for eternity? I guess is what you have
Yeah,
to
we're
say.
going to have to say eternity.
How would you do it?
So what would you say?
Eternity?
Yeah, instead of to death, you want to just say for eternity.
Okay, so Kevin, do you take the ghost of, what's that dog's name?
It's a 6-year-old baby.
But how old is that? How old is that dog?
They're the doll.
Yeah, but
That
he's not
doll's
there.
probably, almost 100 years old.
Well, there you go. So the ghost is 100 years old. It's not a baby ghost. That's a good question, though, since we're having this conversation.
Oh, my.
You're a professional paranormal researcher, is that right?
Yeah, I hope I said it.
Do you, when you die, if you die, how old are you?
I'm 41.
So you died, bam, he's dead. In the spirit world, do you age?
No, I don't.
So you always be wearing this plaid shirt and
I ain't
funky
wearing this. Other kids watching this.
I said funky britches. What is wrong with
Oh, I
funky?
thought you just something
He's
else.
got a dirty mind.
What did you say?
He
Funky,
said
funky.
I swear. it was
Funky.
the
I
other-
did good.
And that's because he's got orgies on his
That's
mind.
because you always say that, Bob.
So what makes you think that you don't age as a ghost? I mean, really,
Because there's no sense of time.
100 years.
I say on the other side, there's no sense of time, age, anything.
So
You're
it
just
don't matter if you marry a child ghost because there's no sense of time.
I don't even know there's marriage over there. I mean,
We know there is. These people are doing it.
human people that
Yeah. And I
when
mean,
they die, is that marriage still going to be? They may know each other a different way. Who knows?
well, can we experiment? Can we get you married? You can kind of feed us. You have
You gonna marry? Then kill me, and then I got to
No,
spend
no,
this
no.
spirit box.
But see, if you're sleeping with your spirit mate, you'll have these bedroom conversations. You're like, oh, honey,
Oh
you're in the
my
spirit world.
gosh.
If I died, will we still be married? That's an interesting question.
This show took such an odd U-turn.
Or is it just spirit? Or is it just ghosts with humans? You can't answer that, can you?
I don't even want to think about that. I like.
Magic ball. Bring Kevin a ghost man.
I investigate
Oh,
paranormal
ghost.
experiences. I don't get
This
into the
this would be a
marriage.
paranormal
Well, let that
experience.
be
You have to
real.
admit, Kevin. This would be an experience. Let's talk about walking around. You'd be on the Oprah show.
My,
You could quit your job.
see, my religious belief, I can't do that. So,
Oh, come on. Don't do that Bentley stuff. But I think it brings about some interesting questions.
yeah.
How long does the marriage last? Just till you die? Or is it going to eternity? You marry a ghost, not me. You. Nobody's interested in what I do, but they're very interested because you're a rock star.
Yeah.
They want to know what
There's
rock stars
groupies
do.
all over out there.
Let's see the lights. They're waiting on this paparazzi. But I mean, you think about it. Doesn't that bring about some interesting questions?
That's my problem. I can't think about it and keep a straight face. But
What do you think about all this?
it's strange to me.
But I didn't make this up.
I know it's out there.
And it's nothing new. It's been around
It's
longer
been
than you've
around
been.
all night. In other countries, it's a custom, apparently.
And that is funny. My lighting out there, when somebody comes by loud mufflers, it makes the lights go faster.
Oh, they got jiggy that time.
Well, I just think this brain opens up a lot of questions.
Yeah.
So anybody that may be watching, give us some answer. Help us out here. If we have scared you off. Really and truly, what happens? Can somebody help us out here? So Kevin marries the spirit of his 6-year-old dog. This is 100 years old, so 106-year-old dog. And I guess that's what you call safe pedophilia. I don't know. Because I think
Oh, my
prosecute you for having sex with a ghost baby. I don't know. These are interesting
I don't
questions.
know, do those really age?
That's what I'm saying.
From what I understand, because they're in South Carolina, also, Mr. Chicken, they call her, lived to a ripe old age. I mean, elderly. She died. Her ghost appears as the way she was, but she was a child. I guess you can do what you want. If you want to be a child, be a child.
Okay.
If you want to be
Oh, so you have choices when you get over there.
I guess so. I mean, with her, that's what happened. She came back as a child spirit, even though she lived to her elderly years.
So you believe in Jesus,
Yeah,
and you communicate with Jesus?
I pray.
Does he talk to you?
And in my heart, I kind of get, feelings, and I've
Dude,
seen miracles.
What kind of mental image do you have of Jesus?
Well, when I say this, we have like paintings of this bearded man with blue eyes. We don't know what he really physically looked like, but I never get a face. It's more like an image of this,
So you know,
being on a rock.
usually of God. I know it's just artist depiction.
Yeah,
But it's usually of a gray-haired, gray-bearded, whatever.
yeah. I always get it's almost like a big man in shadow, on a rock.
So Jesus is the shadow man.
Could be.
There you go. Okay. We're making a lot of progress. Paranormal research. We are making
I
progress.
mean,
I've seen Jesus.
But yeah, sometimes I thought of the image like we like to conjure up with but I don't know. We don't know what he looked like.
So really, your Jesus and your depiction is more of a feeling than an image.
It's more, I kind of picture this being on a solid rock. It's, and I picture a cross. I always say, bring it to the cross.
Mm.
Is what Christians say when you pray, bring your troubles to the cross. And all. So I got to picture this cross and this powerful being on a solid rock. Because of that song, on solid rock I stand, all the ground is sinking sand.
Well, I think about the rock song back in the 80s. Solid.
But so when I do picture that image of the parted hippie hair and beard and mustache, I say to myself, we don't know what he looked like. I mean, I don't think he would have been a white man. He was in Egypt in the desert.
I
He's
think
probably olive.
I mean, well, that's what I started saying. I would think he looked like Osama bin Laden.
Probably.
You know,
Kind of a
if he showed up in a church in Alabama, they'd be calling ICE and Homeland Security.
Well, the rest of the desert dwellers with the, the dressing they wore, the sandals or bare feet or whatever. Long hair, beard, mustache, and just sunburnt. I mean.
And more of the facial features of the Middle Eastern.
Yeah, that's what I kind of. And I thought of that in my head. I thought of a little more Middle Eastern look. This white dude stuff. And then you have the African American churches have a solid black, and it was Africa, but I think it would have been more. The Egyptians were sort of olive skinned, and Jerusalem, Israel, all that.
Well, personally, I think it all ties it together because regardless of what you believe, it don't matter to me whether you believe it's real or a myth or whatever. The teaching is that he was on earth, he walked, he was put to death, he came back as a spirit.
Yeah.
Now you call it ghost, spirit, whatever you want to call it, it still means the same thing. In the King James Version, they didn't say Holy Spirit, they said Holy Ghost. That's the terminology. And I think, it's like, to me, I came to the realization a long time ago that when we're dealing with religion, the Bible, we're dealing with the paranormal. It's not normal, so it's the paranormal. And so it kind of ties in when we talk about this aging. Is Jesus still 33 years of age in heaven? Like he was when he was put to death?
I think age and time are out. You're just.
Well, I agree. I honestly agree with that.
It never has about aging and pain.
Because see, I think when we see these energies that we call ghosts, I think that's a residual thing that is not a real representation of what,
Probably.
Because it's like the old question that we used to ask about God. Does God have a sex? In other words,
I say no.
Well, I mean, that's right. Because, does God have no purpose for a dick, right? Seriously, I'm sorry, but these are real questions.
Oh my gosh.
Does God have a reason? Does God pee? Or does he need it? Now, I know he had sex with Mary and Jesus, but these are legitimate questions, Kevin.
And lightning's going to come through here.
Why?
Gosh,
I'm just
I feel
saying.
like I'm just rapping blasphemy over here.
Would you ask if God has sex?
Yeah, no, God didn't have sex. Does he have a sex? And does he male or female? See, my God's transgender.
I say there's no sex. He's so
He's
beyond.
He's new.
He's a being beyond.
He's a eunuch.
A eunuch.
Yeah,
Lord alive. Don't strike me, Lord.
We got our terms for this, but you're saying that he has no organs.
I say he's
not a person.
I know, but we look at those. When we deal with spirit realm, why do we represent all these figures as male or female when there's no sex? That's my point.
A human way about it.
So up there, Jesus could get by wearing a dress as quick as he could wearing a pair of pants because
when Jesus was alive, if there wasn't Jesus, he wore dresses anyway.
Well, he robes, yeah.
So,
But the reality, these are things I thought about when I was younger. 4 through 5 words. I was like, okay, does God have a, and it's strange because when I was sitting on a toilet, it just hit me. It's like, God's watching me here on this toilet. That's not a comfortable feeling. When I'm fixing the medical tissue, I stick my hand down here. And it's like, God's watching this stuff. And then, first time you have sex, God's watching that too. He sees everything. And then the thought comes in your mind, it's like, does God have sex? Okay.
He's so beyond. He made us to just so we can reproduce, but
So really,
he doesn't need to.
when you die, this is to come around this conversation, not trying to be silly, even though it's kind of. I'll get that. But we come around, and Kevin's like, when you die, you're no longer a human, you're a spirit.
Yeah.
So there's no gender role to be played. All right. So it's not like you're not male, you're not female, you're genderless, right? Is that what we're saying? Really? Is that what it comes down
That's
to?
why I think it's a totally different thing over there. We don't have to worry about. So here we have the gender and the
Well,
race, and it's all this
no
separation.
need for procreation,
Yeah, that's
right?
Everything.
what I
We
said.
as human beings label every little.
Yeah.
Oh, we do have labels, you know?
Well,
Yeah.
once you pass over to the next whatever we pass over to,
Mhm. Different brand.
labels fall off.
Yeah, so in our perspective, we call it heaven, we call it paradise, whatever. These are just labels because nobody can really describe these things, right?
Mhm.
Well, you would have to be there and come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, some
that's-
people claim they have, but I'm not so sure about that coming back. I think it's called NDE for a reason, near death experience. It wasn't truly dead. It's like that Princess Bride. I was quite nearly dead, you know. But that to me was a fascinating thought as we genderize even the spirit realm. And that's what we're talking about here in marrying ghosts. Is we genderize. In other words, I'm going to find me something else. You know, a female ghost. And when really and truly, according to what I'm hearing, there's no gender there.
There we have to be careful. Demons can imitate things. You never know if that's demon trying to get the best of you.
Yeah, I used to question things like this when I was a kid.
I still do.
I growing up in the church, I used to question the most meanest thing that you hear about is the devil. Why the heck would we pray for the devil? I didn't understand because you want the devil.
You pray for the sinners,
You
right?
pray for the sinners to find
Okay.
their way.
I don't want to get over religious here, so I just want to compare the ghost thing. Okay, so I don't want to get into theology and all that right now.
I didn't say pray too. I said pray.
Oh, okay.
Why don't we pray Tuesday?
Right, Anton. His name Anton
Okay.
LeVay, yeah.
Um,
Oh, interesting. Columbus, Mississippi, they've got his Bible in their museum thing. He's the,
I got my
like the cousin of the man that built the. He was related to Tennessee Williams somehow.
Oh, wow.
And I think they were cousins. And the Tennessee Williams house there in Columbus, Mississippi has like an old copy of his Bible there.
So you've done a lot of Columbus, Mississippi stuff.
Hey, I've been there a few times, but I went to see everything.
So it's a very fascinating place.
It is. It's very historical. It's beautiful.
You have to write a book just about that.
Yeah, there's books written, but I mean, I could.
Well, anyway, those to me is very interesting thing. And
Well, I was going to say, our church even has a song called Supernatural God.
it is super there.
And I was telling my mom about that. She's old, so, she's
Oh, that-
old
word,
Southern Baptist.
That's
She's like,
supernatural.
oh, it's not supernatural. Well, what would you think? I mean, it's the same thing. He's beyond natural.
Paranormal, supernatural. It's an alien.
You know,
Yeah. Well, anyway, interesting questions. Not trying to stir up anything ugly. You can marry a ghost if you want to. Kevin, date a ghost. I don't care. I'm not going to judge you. Did you find another interesting?
yeah.
You want to get away from marriage? I gotta find her video about tips for dating. Go ahead, Kevin.
I was going to tell a story about Nellie. I think that's the Columbus. That's their what would you say, matriarch ghost there. That's their favorite, I think, ghost of the whole town is Nellie.
That name. Where is it located?
Columbus, Mississippi. Her home.
Okay.
Her home is the home. It's called Arlton, and she has a tie in Alabama. I'm getting that in a minute. But Nellie was the daughter of the original builder. She was born in that house. She lived her whole life in that house. When she married her husband, she and her husband lived in that house. She had her children in that house. And when he passed before her, she spent her twilight years in that house. She even died there. Now, she wasn't like a hermit. She got out in the world, but that was her home to go back. She always lived there. She never left the house as far as her living.
This is not the Waverly.
Huh?
This is not Waverly. We moved on.
No, this is Arrowton.
Arrowton. Okay.
Now, usually it's near the year, unless something's changed recently. It's privately owned by the. Now, after Nellie's family, she passed on, the Batemans bought the mansion and renovated it. But I don't want to miss this story. The main part of the story is when Nellie got married to her husband. He was a fireman there in Columbus. And she met and fell in love with him when a big fire broke out of the store down the road. And everybody rushed down to watch it. And she went down there with her siblings, whoever. She's watching this rugged, handsome fireman comes out there and puts out that fire. And she was just drawn to him. I just love at first sight for her. And when they locked eyes, he apparently felt the same thing, and they fell in love, and they married. Their wedding was in Arrowton. She was in love with his house. So I believe she never left it even in death. I'm about to get to that. But on her wedding day, she was so happy. She married her husband, Charles, and she said, I'm just so happy. I just want to leave my mark in this house. She took her wedding ring and went to one of the parlor windows and etched her name with that diamond into the glass, Nellie. And there it stayed.
And after
she took her wedding ring and etched it scratched it into the glass, Nellie, in cursive. And it was there in the parlor in the middle pane. It was right there at eye level where you could see it. Well, after she passed on, the Batemans moved it, and they bought it and renovated it. And Mrs. Bateman said she always felt like Nellie's spirit was probably still there. And she got her confirmation one morning. Now, before this morning, the day before, one of the workers who was working on the renovations was going to the parlor with his ladder. And he swung a little too soon when he went through the doorway. At the end of the ladder, went through that window where Nellie's name was etched, shattered it into a million pieces. When Miss Bateman cried, she said, "Oh no, Nellie's name is gone." She just sobbed. Well, they came out and they replaced the panes in the window. Now there was a blank pane. And she went to bed that night. And closed the curtains like anybody else would at night. And then the next morning she got up, went to the parlor, and she's opening the curtains. And she gets to that window, pulls open the curtains, and there on that new pane, scratched in the pane, is the name Nellie. Nellie, exactly the way it was before.
Oh, my goodness.
And Miss Bateman just told everybody about this. All y'all got to come see, the name is back. She said, Nellie is still here. And she saw how pained I was. I think this is her way of letting me know that she's here, that she appreciates us restoring her loved home. People have said that they've seen Nellie's spirit on the stairs, fleeting glimpses of a woman there smiling in period clothing, and that she disappears really fast. Batemans are so well known. They were a prominent family in Columbus, so well known that they were friends with Vincent Price, the actor. Mm-hmm. He actually spent the night in Arrowton when he came through Columbus one time on a theater trip, I think. He did some stage plays too. And they said when they told the story when I went on the tour on the pilgrimage, they opened it up, or every once in a while they open it for the pilgrimage tour. So you get to go in, you can see the window where Nellie's name is etched. Mm. And I've seen it close up and in person. I tried to take a picture and it wouldn't come out on the picture. But you can see it plain as day. But they said when Vincent Price visited, when he first walked in, he stood in the parlor and looked around and he says, "Oh, there are spirits in this house." And Mr. Bateman, even though he knew there was some strange name that appeared in his window, he was always the fun, skeptical guy. So he turned around and was surprised and said, "Oh yeah, we got plenty of spirits. We got whiskey, we got wine, we got you some, you know." It kind of teased him.
Got some real good spirits.
But old Vincent said he could sense some spirits in that house. So, but if you go there on a pilgrimage, they open it. Be sure to check that house out. And they show that window on the tour. They will show you can walk up and look at it and see Nellie in beautiful cursive writing, and she scratched into that glass. And there's a tie with Nellie to Alabama. And guess what that is? She was the grandmother, I believe it was grandmother, of Catherine Tucker Wyndham. Yes, Charles Tucker was Nellie's husband. Catherine Tucker was her name when she married Wyndham. She was Catherine Tucker Wyndham. So she didn't say that. I mean, when she wrote 13 Mississippi Ghosts, she told the story of it, but she didn't say that. But later on, she revealed that when she would talk about it at storytelling festival, she would say that it was her grandmother. And but she loved that house apparently so much that she's still there even in death. But that was beautiful etching, scratching, and makes you wonder. Or somebody can be skeptical, say, "Oh, I could took a dive and put that there," but it's an amazing story.
When you talk about the etching with the ring,
or scratching.
do you remember Bobby Brown and Whitney Houston?
Yeah.
They lived in Atlanta. They had a big mansion in Atlanta. And I used to go to the mansion a long time ago. And they torn their mansion down now, by the way. Huge. One wing of it was like a long wing of smaller bedrooms and whatnot. And then the main hall and then two winding staircases that came up from this huge palatial entranceway and went up the stairs. And as soon as you got to the top of the stairs, this section over here was the bedroom area. His and her walk-in closet on each floor. The bed was raised up off the floor. And these closets were so big that you could put your house. You know what I'm saying? Well, they were back then superstars, And you saw when you're in the bedroom, on this side, as you walked out, was big plate glass windows that overlooked the estate back here. Nice sloping trees, nice manicured lawn, that kind of stuff. The first big window pane, huge window pane, had Bobby Brown etched into it. And I was going to try and I thought, man, if I can get that window before they tear this place down, because I knew they were going to sell it. Whitney Houston and him had moved out of it, and whatnot. And the mansion was well known because of so much police activity, because they stayed in fights and they were drug addicts. But anyway, I thought, man, if I could get that glass window, I could sell that. But I don't know what happened to that. I'm sorry, it just made me think of that. Because that was kind of an obnoxious thing. You get up in the morning, walk out of that bedroom, and the first thing you see is a reflection of Bobby Brown in the glass. I thought, what an egomaniac. Nothing to do with ghosts unless Whitney Houston is haunting that area.
I think Kanye West is trying to beat him.
I think that estate was so big, and I think they turned it into a whole subdivision where it sat there. Yeah. But anyway, interesting story. Columbus, Mississippi.
I think we need to make it true.
It's only a couple hours away, right?
Yeah, Virginia.
Yeah. So,
which one is
it up toward the
85? I think is the highway you get off I-20 on 85, and it goes all the way.
So you
right
take 2059 into Mississippi around Meridian.
I think you get off before you get into Mississippi, because
is it north?
If you look at the map, Columbus, Mississippi is north. It's in the northeast corner of their county. So not way up the corner, but just below the corner up there. And they've got several. They got couple bed and breakfasts out there that are, antebellum mansions. They got several houses open for tours all year long.
So it's known for the home.
Yeah, they'll share their ghost stories, especially Waverly. You just add that to Waverly has another ghost besides Little Girl Lost. People have seen a Civil War soldier on horseback come galloping across the property and disappear.
Fascinating stories. I mean, really.
And then there was a funny. I remember one of the tour guide. Our tour guide was a guy when I went on that pilgrimage. We were in the gentleman's parlor. Back in the day, when the men and women would after dinner, whatever, they separate. The women would go to the women's parlor to knit and talk, and the men would go to the men's parlor to smoke the cigars, and share stories. Who's got the most money? Most plantation bring, And women were not allowed in the men's parlor. Oh no! And then of course, men never ventured to the women's parlor unless you risk being made fun of by the other men. So they would just send their servants. They needed to send a message.
Mm.
And but that one of the female workers late in the evening after they didn't have any tours was going around if she was turning off lights or doing something else, straightening up. She was in the men's parlor. She was in there just a little bit too long, apparently. But she heard from out of nowhere a male voice say, "Get out."
Get out.
Not like the demons would do like "Get out." It was just like a "Get out." And she spun around and looked. There was nobody there. But she hastily made her way out. And they laughed about it later. She was apparently one of those gentlemen ghosts didn't like my female self in their parlor, touching their things. So, and they smelled cigar smoke in there too.
That's something I saw on the sewer.
Mm.
My grandfather's.
Yeah.
So not far from here is Shelby Iron Works, just down the road, basically. And up until this year, there was an old hotel that stood there, called the Shelby Hotel, I think, wasn't it? What they call it? Burned down now.
Yeah.
So about 2 years ago, before this place burned down, we took a daytime tour of it. It was opened up. Very interesting because the only thing dilapidated about it was the outside porch area. Have you ever walked through it before it burned?
I didn't get to. I know Kim, before I joined them, Kim took the team.
Mhm.
And,
Well, I've got a YouTube video, and we went.
I went with them. Yes, I didn't get to go.
Yeah. Well, took a daytime tour, and part of it, I wasn't even really looking for ghosts. It was just fascinating to walk through. And I did a video, walk through my camera, and kind of narrated a little bit because it was very fascinating. Everything was just solid. I mean, the floor did not creak. You could see where new wiring all the way through it. The old wiring, and this was new wiring. You could see. And but before I went upstairs, I'd gone through pretty much downstairs, and about the middle staircase, I turned to go upstairs, and I didn't recognize it at the time, but on the video, I caught a voice. And like I said, I wasn't even there for the ghost purpose of it, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Now, the interesting thing about all that, as well as the guy that built Shelby Ironworks, he passed by the big cemetery down here, right? If you're coming from Columbiana to here, and you took a left, there's an iron fence around the grave. You see it from the street.
Mm-hmm.
That is the wife and the daughter of Shelby that built Shelby Ironworks. Okay. He's not buried there. They died, and he buried them there. And that iron fence was his creation, and it's about the only remaining thing that was produced at Shelby Ironworks. He's buried in Birmingham because he got remarried. And just interesting history there. I don't know exactly where his grave is. Have you ever toured Oak Hill Cemetery near Birmingham?
I want to say we went through there a long, long time ago.
They do. They just signed up to do ghost walk, do history walk. Did you see that? Showed up on my Facebook timeline.
One of them's got a funny story with it.
But all kind of interesting stories just in this area alone. Let me see if I find it. Is it Oak Hill?
Yeah. That's the one where we got the thermal.
No.
No?
That was that old cemetery. Oak Hill's the one near downtown.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's where the cat was.
Here it is, 2019 Oak Hill Cemetery Tour. Already sold out. You can't get any tickets there.
No.
Because by the time it showed up on my Facebook timeline, it already sold out. And when was this thing? But I did a video there. Back, it was a couple of years ago, right after a storm, and a big tree had been knocked down there. So, cemetery tour, tickets include. Anyway, you're looking for something. I'm just trying to eat up some time while you're looking.
Mayor.
You're looking for something.
Yeah, there was one. I just thought of you telling that story. But God knows if I'm going to find the name of this place. There's an inn in Tennessee that's got a hilarious ghost story. But I'd like to have the name of the place and where it's at.
Well, you got time while you're doing that. Let's got about 30 minutes or so.
It's hilarious.
Here's my video of one of the videos. Here we go. Of Oak Hill, right here. Beautiful place. I always have these perfect introductions to my stuff. Wait a minute. You know what? I can share this real quick. So I can do that. Let me do a screen share.
Okay.
So guys, I'm going to play this while he's looking. I'll do the screen share and let y'all enjoy this.
I just found it.
Oh, good. So I can't do this, right?
No, you can go
Jeez.
ahead. I just found it.
Okay, let's do this about an 18-minute thing. You know,
Okay.
at a time here. And
I'm sure you're on the live.
oh, wait a minute. I think I messed up because I didn't click the button for the audio share. That will mess up. Hold on, let me start over. Share screen, bear with me. Share screen, I gotta share audio, or mess up. Wait here. Okay. Share, here we go. All right, I'm gonna show this video, talking about one of our local cemeteries. And full screen. All right. Yeah, we can talk and it won't hear us. Okay. But here you can see if you recognize near downtown.
Well, just to start out here, nature does not even care about the look around here, this huge tree and storm got this big. And walk around and see how
Still have those, just so you know it's watching.
Okay.
look over here.
See that tree that fell down?
Yeah.
Yeah, visited that cemetery. Now the other one that she mentioned is in, I have to look it up, but it is northwest in where you grew up, of Jeff County. Can't remember the name of it. Spook Hill Cemetery. Look at that big old tree up like that. It's still in there. Can't remember if this is one that added some ghosts into it. I like playing gravel, but I'm not trying to fool anybody else at that point. So what story are you looking for there?
Oh, yeah. It's about
Where's you?
it's in Jonesboro, Tennessee.
Okay.
It's got a party ghost.
Barton.
Yes. And there's a funny story.
That will be me.
Oh,
I read in a book about
Just
one
see
of
the
these.
structure. That's right, yeah.
Let me see if I can put it on our bus tour or the Haunted Birmingham tour that they took us to do. They the live video and they just couldn't do it. People walking.
Wait, look inside the crypt. Look inside the crypt.
Look at there. 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 I guess you can't walk in there.
It's
Right.
stuck my camera. Have you found mistakes on Rachel?
No.
I think it was that old deal I'm going through, and I might have it on this video. And they had the person
Yep.
dying before they were born. Seriously. I'll look at it. Maybe this one here. Let's see. Look.
Dude. Uh-oh, there, dude.
Let's see. Let's see. This may be it here. Yeah, right here. Died in 45, born in 54. See that?
My son is a child, but I got the years mixed around.
Right there. October 2, born 1854, right?
Yeah. And I hear us talking.
And then September 13th. I believe that's the one, yeah. I don't know if it's yet or not.
Okay.
But that is, yeah. I've seen a couple of mistakes on Tombstone, but that was like, wait a minute.
That was a big mistake.
That was like, you kidding?
Maybe she's like Benjamin Button. You put her over
It just amazed me that after all that time, it never got corrected. I can't be the only person to notice
it. You were fascinated by that, weren't you?
Yeah, man, it got my attention. It's like,
Yeah, that shot. Oh, look at there. Yeah, this is near downtown here.
yes, it's right at downtown. Yeah.
I know we've driven by there in the daytime because you see it's right there.
Yeah. It's not far from those federal buildings.
Yeah, we just haven't been out there again. We should have just driven there. That bus right by there. I didn't know the street was that close to it.
Yeah, you can hear it. You can hear it.
Yeah, that's good, except I we're talking about. It follows the video.
Yeah, it's got us to the little box.
Okay.
But that's a nice name, and a lot of history there.
Yeah. James A. Boyd.
I like those old tombstones. Nowadays, it's all boring, isn't it? But
Yeah,
back then, the architecture around it, the stones and the work they put into it.
I'm
Look at that.
still the most jaw-dropping cemetery I've been in today is Bonnet,
And where is that?
Savannah, Georgia.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I mean, those are just, they're monuments. I mean, life-size statues. Just amazing.
Name that cemetery up there. We did it.
I mean, you don't feel like you're in a cemetery when you're in Bonaventure, like you're in a museum or something. Outdoor museum.
Well, look at these structures. I mean, they may not be Bonaventure, but these are some
Yeah, I'm
structures.
putting these down.
You got, even if you just go walk, you enjoy walking through there and looking at that.
Sure, I would assume that accessible. I kept thinking it was off the path there, you know, right down the path.
Well, the main gate, and I just told you at the very beginning of the video, is any place I just park somewhere and walk through it.
They could have just driven the bus right up next to it, top of
They
it.
lock it up at night.
Yeah, I mean, where that main road is, you could
Yeah.
have driven right up there. I don't know how we couldn't get that up our ghost tour.
I had looked at this video online.
There's a lot of good stories. A lot of spooky things people talk about. A lot of people talk spooky things. There ghost lights, apparitions. I think there's even stories about devil dogs.
Right here, I didn't realize it, but there's a cat walking. You see that cat? Did you see that? Let me back up just a minute.
A cat.
Watch. Watch when we get back to it. Yeah, bam. Look.
Cat. Yeah.
Didn't see it. That's good. I watched the video.
Was that a solid cat or a ghost?
It's a pretty neat monuments out there. Yeah, it is well kept. Some kind of association, you know. That was a flooded area there. There's tombstone, water.
After you guys done saying, well, cat, I see your reflection. Look up there at the shelves.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like a mausoleum.
I thought you liked some of it.
I do. I just tease them.
What?
What? What do you mean what? Just tease them about
That time of year we went, I mean, look at the colors.
Yes, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's why after that I went to Savannah right in early springtime because the things were blooming. That's they wanted me
Now, I'm going to go ahead and shut this down simply because you got something to share.
Yeah.
Right? So we'll pause this and let's get back because we're getting close to quitting time. We're back and we'll turn this back over to Kevin. He's got some interesting stories.
Yes, that was Oak Grove Cemetery here downtown Birmingham. We just wanted to show off the video there. Beautiful cemetery. I wanted to share a story that made me laugh when I read it. Now, when I originally read about this, and they don't give the full story on the internet that I found yet, but I back when I was researching in the early 2000s, 2003, around there, I was checking out every book I could find in every library, downtown Birmingham, Homewood Library, North Shelby, just everywhere I could go to find books about haunted places and inns, and especially inns, because then you get a chance to spend the night there. And one book I checked out had, I think it was focused mainly on the Southeast, haunted inns in the Southeast. That's where I found out about Rice Oak Plantation I mentioned earlier in South Carolina. I went out there and spent 3 nights with my brother, and we had some spooky things. But one that cracked me up, because this is a very unique ghost, and this is in historical Jonesboro, Tennessee, quaint little historical, beautiful place. There's a bed and breakfast house there that dates back to, it was built in the 1870s. It's called the Hawley House. Hawley, Hawley, Hawley House, bed and breakfast. Now today, I think somebody lives in the main house. Only the cottage part is open for the B&B. So now it's Holly House Cottage B&B. But a couple of decades ago, they had the whole house open where you could spend the night there. They had 3 or 4 guest rooms in there. And back then, people reported very mischievous, not just mysterious, but mischievous activities in that house. And they believe it dates back to the early 1900s when the house was known to be the place where ladies of the evening went to. It was sort of a brothel. And the man that ran it, I couldn't find his name to say it here, but the man that ran it was your typical middle-aged, kind of chubby guy. He liked to drink and he liked to play pranks. He loved the ladies. Now, back in more modern years, a decade or so ago, when it was still a bit, the main house was still open for overnight guests. People would talk about they would smell the strange odor of alcohol. People would have knocks on their doors. When they would open the door, they would hear a loud, disembodied laugh and smell a fart. They called him the farting ghost. So this guy was just a hoot. I wish the main house still open. I'd go stay, see if I smell that farting ghost. He used to like to mess with people, with female guests. He liked to mess with them, with female employees. They would feel a little pinch. They'd say that was him pinching the ladies. Also, some of those ladies of the evening are believed to still be there. People would hear women giggling and carrying on conversations in rooms that were empty. Disembodied voices. But the funniest story they've told at Holly House, this cracked me up. And this was back in the 90s, I believe. According to the book that I read about it, the housekeeper talked about this very mean, kind of older, maybe 50-ish salesman came through town, and he spent the night at Holly House. Except for the minute he got there, he was a jerk. He was rude. He was demanding. Take my suitcase and bring where's it? I need more towels than this. Where can I get something to eat around here? That kind of a just nasty attitude. And she found it hard to keep a straight face because he had an obvious toupee on his head. It's one of those cheap toupees trying to cover his bald head. No offense here. And but she tried to keep a straight face, but it helped her not to go nuts and just kill him for being so rude. She just, she said he's just a silly man. Ignore him, give him what he wants. So he went to bed that night. And when you put that tack away. I'm tacky. Anyway, he went to his room that night, went to bed. The next morning, they saw him hurry out of the bed and breakfast with his suitcase. He did not stop to talk, did not have breakfast. They said he flew out, and they noticed there was something different about him. His toupee was missing. He flew out, and I don't know how they found him. He called later. I think he called embarrassed later. Apparently, his toupee went missing during the night. Later that day, the groundskeeper was out working, and he looked up and he saw something unusual on the roof of the house. He climbed up there. That those all has that spindly thing that runs on the round spindly thing that spins on the roof. I don't know what it's got.
It's a vent for that. Get the weed out.
On top of that vent, spinning round and round was that man's toupee. They had no clue how it got up there other than their mischievous ghost must have done that because he didn't like what this man was acting in his house. So that was the end of it. I think they shipped the toupee back to the angry salesman.
It's interesting that you brought up Jonesboro. Jonesboro is the oldest town in Tennessee.
Yeah, it is.
And I remembered that because several years ago I took a walking ghost tour of downtown Jonesboro. And it's a very small town with a lot of history, like you're bringing out there. Less than 10,000 people live there. But in the little walking tour, the little tour guide had one of those little speaker boxes on his belt. You've seen those with microphones. And so we're on the corner over here, and it was cold. It was pretty cold like now. So it was like, why did I do this? But we're on this street corner here, a little grouping of us, and he's pointing over at this 2-story building there downtown there, where some lady had committed suicide jumping off the top onto the street, sidewalk, whatever. And he said sometimes, listen, you'll get a connection with this lady. About that time, from nowhere, nobody moved. We're all just standing there. Right by me, I was overwhelmed by warmth. I mean, just totally free. And I looked around, like, anybody else get some warmth? It wasn't like the building we were in front of over here was boarded up. It wasn't, it wasn't like somebody could open a door and warm air. So I had my little ghost experience, if you will, because he said a lot of times people have experience. He didn't say what the experience would be, but about that time, just enveloped with this warmth. And I mean, it was like tonight, it was cold up there. It's almost up in the eastern mountainous Tennessee up there. So there's my Jones plan. Have you ever been there?
I have not. I need to get up there.
You need to get up there.
They have every year. They have the National Storytelling Festival there, and I kept saying one day I wanted to go. It's the biggest storytelling
And
festival.
when do they do that?
I think it's during springtime when a lot of the festivals happen. Or I mean, usually spring and fall, you got a lot of
Big festivals,
storytelling.
yeah.
I think this one's in the spring. Correct me if if you find it on the website, correct me if I'm wrong. They had all the storytelling. Catherine Tucker Wyndham was always there when she was alive. And at night, they would have ghost storytelling. So during the day, you'd have the funny storytelling and stuff like that. And at night, they would turn it over to the ghost stories.
Well, I had to make sure. I thought you were talking about that town, so I thought,
Yes, that's it. Jonesboro.
yeah. So fascinating. Fascinating. Getting close. We've still got a few minutes we can talk here. I want to go back to promoting your book,
Crimson, the Blood Painting.
Clickbait.
Only for in Alabama.
He's never given me a copy because he's kind of greedy and needy.
You got a copy? Oh.
But I read the first couple of pages, and I can tell you it grabs you real quick. But I don't know the rest of the story because I don't have the book.
$15.
Yeah. But anyway, it's about to come out on audio book. His first audio form of this book you can get on Amazon. So if you're too lazy to read, or if you're old, you got poor eyesight, or if you're a truck driver or a salesman traveling down the road, you can listen to this story. And what's the lady's name that's narrating it? She don't even know.
Yes, I do.
He don't even freaking know.
Let me pull this up here. Her name, let's have a look at that.
Yeah, see there?
Shut up.
This lady's great. She does such a wonderful
Hey,
job. What's
she's
her
got
name?
a slew. She's got a slew of audio books under her name. I mean,
You got a new
and,
person on that.
and her name, I'm about to pull it up here.
So the Nora.
Her name is Lynn R. Thomas.
Lynn R. Thomas is narrating. Now, he's thinking about one of his, was it your first book?
Yeah, Legends of Indian Narrows.
About
Ghostly
narrating
Childhood
himself.
Memoirs. I'm going to do that for audiobook, and I'm going to do it myself because I mean, this Crimson book, they said it's going to be a 7-hour recording.
Really?
And I so well, it's enough for me to do a 30-minute
But
podcast.
that is good.
But I do want to do my ghost stories.
So the audio version is going to be a 7-hour book to listen to?
Yeah, Crimson will be a 7-hour.
So that is, if you're a truck driver, if you're driving from here to California, if you're going on vacation in New York, if you got something going on, you're on the road, or if you just want to lay back in bed at night, put your headphones on, if you're old and don't want to mess with your reading glasses, or if you know somebody that's legally blind and you want to treat them to a good story, this is it, right?
Yes.
And poor Kevin needs the money. As you can tell, he's missed a few meals lately.
Yeah.
He's got the same problem I got. But anyway, help the guy out. MyHauntedDolls.com is Kevin's website.
Yes, myhauntedolls.com.
And also on YouTube.
YouTube.
The Haunted
The
Dolls.
Haunted Dolls, Kevin Cain.
Subscribe.
Uh,
You get a special treat if you subscribe to his channel tonight. A special treat.
I
That
did-
he don't even know that he's giving you a treat.
he puts me on the spot.
And I'm putting him on the spot. But the treat is that you can join us again next Tuesday night with Cherie with us.
Yes,
And
sure.
that is that gonna be a
I
treat?
won't be with y'all.
Catherine's gonna be in the hospital. She's getting cut on in more than one place. Her doctor runs a Asian restaurant called Chop Suey.
I did find out
Chop suey.
last week that I am a little abnormal. I do have an extra spleen.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, that took
Oh, it's good to have a spare.
that took the space of the brain for it.
No.
A fossil spleen with it, would you?
Uh,
So anyway, myhaunteddogs.com, My Haunted Dogs on YouTube.
yes, and My Haunted Dolls on Facebook.
Yes, and then on YouTube also, Abnormal Alabama. We stream this now because they upgraded our platform here, so we stream it 2 places at once. And that is on Abnormal Alabama on YouTube and Abnormal Alabama on Facebook. 2 hours of the most fun that you'll ever have on a Tuesday night when it's 20 freaking degrees outside of Alabama.
Yes.
I couldn't even look at the moon, full moon, because it's so cold. My telescope frog.
And everything, yeah. I'm looking forward to getting the cold car now. So anyway, when I hadn't driven the Xterra in a couple of days, and I got in it to come here because I drove the van all day, the tires, I thought something was wrong because it's so cold. You know what I'm saying? How the tires act? Scared me.
Yeah.
So it's getting cold tonight. I hope everybody stays warm.
Yes.
We got 4 minutes, and again, get the book.
And if you want to hear me tell more ghost stories and horror stories, go to myhauntedolls.com and check out my podcast called The Haunted Collection. Right there on my website. Link to it there. I got 24 episodes now and about 1,600 and something followers.
And you see this shirt, Future Corpse, right here. Abnormal Alabama. We have a shop, all kind of neat T-shirts and Bigfoot paraphernalia and whatnot. We need some money. He don't,
Look at that.
but we, we're raising money for her operation. How's that? The doctor needs a new knife, new scalpel. One other one there.
Go ahead and do a telethon. Get Jerry Lewis.
We're gonna have next.
Jerry Lewis.
Yeah, I think we'll do that next weekend. We'll have a whole weekend. We'll have a telethon
Telethon.
and raise money for something.
Money, lady. Come in.
Thank you guys for joining in. We really appreciate all the support that you guys give us and putting up. And I hope you find some of our insanity entertaining. We told a lot of ghost stories tonight.
Yeah, even a farting ghost.
And he's going to be reviewing a video about how to properly have sex with ghosts.
That's your area there.
We did have a nice discussion about do ghosts even have sex.
Well, according to that lady, she has had sex with
Well, the other lady said she's had sex with 20 ghosts. I don't know if it was all at one time, but the other lady said that her husband and her joined in with this orgy with ghosts. So, fascinating thing. And all I can tell you from a Christian viewpoint is God did get Mary pregnant. How did that happen? Yeah, it's like, whoo, that's some sperm. Holy sperm.
Yes.
Holy sperm, okay. So thank you all for joining us. We're going to have to get our engines warmed up outside. Cold out there. Next Tuesday, Cherie, what's her last name?
Cherie Shear.
What's her Facebook?
Creepy Dolls and Paranormal Experience.
If you think he's got creepy dolls, she's got double the creepy doll.
Yes.
And if you think that he tells a good story, she puts in the same. What's that evil laugh? Yeah.
I'll join you guys from the hospital.
There you go.
Oh.
She'll live stream from
Hey,
the hospital.
I'll be doing ghost hunts inside the hospital.
All right. I guess that's it, folks. Have a wonderful evening.
Yes.
We'll talk to you next week
Bye.
in broadcast.
Hey.